My beloved child, listen closely. Something in the unseen realm has been stirring for hours, and the heavens have been echoing your name. The title you just read is not a warning. It is a divine interruption. Beloved, where have you been? I, Archangel Michael, have been waiting for over 7 hours, desperate to tell you this. Everyone knows the truth except you. But you must hurry. You've already wasted too much time. Please, don't make me angry by ignoring this or treating it like a joke. These words are not random. They are not exaggerated. They are not poetic. They are urgent because the realm of spirit has been waiting for you. And tonight, something that has been hidden from you for too long must finally come into the light. A quiet shift began the moment you clicked this video, because Archangel Michael has been standing at the gates of your life, holding back a storm that was never meant to touch you. For 7 hours, he has been watching the ripples of choices, conversations, distractions, delays, and spiritual disturbances around you. He has been waiting for the exact moment when your spirit would be still enough to hear what is coming now. And child, that moment is now. There is something that everyone around you has sensed, something that you have felt in glimpses, but brushed aside because you thought it was just imagination. A truth that has been circulating in the atmosphere, whispering through intuition, dreams, sudden discomfort, and unexplained heaviness. Others have seen signs of it. Others have spoken about it. Others have even warned you indirectly. But you, the one who needs the clarity most, have been walking without knowing what heaven is trying to reveal. Archangel Michael is not angry with you. His tone is not wrath, but urgency. When he says, "Don't make me angry by ignoring this," it is not because he seeks fear. It is because he sees what you cannot see yet. He knows what is approaching. He knows what has been delayed. He knows what has been disguised as coincidence. And he knows the attack that was scheduled for your life, scheduled to confuse you, distract you, and turn you away from what God has been preparing for your next chapter. For over 7 hours, Michael has been intercepting spiritual noise sent to cloud your discernment. That heaviness you felt, that strange tiredness that pushed to procrastinate, that sudden shift in atmosphere, it wasn't random. It was resistance. Something wanted to keep you from hearing this message today. But look at you. You made it. And because of that, the truth that has been kept from you is about to unfold. There is a pattern around your life that you haven't recognized yet. A cycle that repeats at the same moment whenever you're on the edge of breakthrough. A distraction appears. A worry arises. A certain person reaches out. A sudden emotional wave hits. A delay comes out of nowhere. It has happened too many times for you not to question it, yet you never questioned it. But Archangel Michael says this cycle ends tonight. You are stepping into a season where the truth cannot remain hidden anymore. Not about people, not about your purpose, not about your destiny, and not about the spiritual forces that have been monitoring your steps. Michael has been waiting because your spirit needed to reach the point of readiness where you could finally receive the clarity without running from it. There is a reason you feel like you've wasted time. There is a reason you feel behind. There is a reason you feel like you should have known something earlier. There is a reason your intuition has been restless. Heaven is telling you, you are not late. You are being aligned. But now, alignment must turn into awakening. For a long time, you have walked carrying questions that you didn't even know how to articulate. Emotions that didn't make sense. A sense of urgency without a clear direction. A feeling of being watched over, yet also a feeling of being spiritually tugged at from all sides. And child, that is because you were in a spiritual waiting room. Heaven was holding the message until the exact moment your heart was settled enough to hear it without fear, without confusion, and without interference. Archangel Michael's voice is thundering in the unseen, You are not alone. You were never alone. But now, you must hear what you avoided before. Before this message ends, allow yourself to breathe, because what is coming next will not just explain the truth, it will expose it. And once it is revealed to you, something in your life will never operate the same way again. Hold your spirit steady. What unfolds from here is not chaos, it is revelation. And beloved, what you're about to hear next will unlock what has been locked up in your destiny for years. Stay right where you are. Don't drift. Don't scroll. Don't step out of this moment. Your breakthrough is closer than your fear. Type "I open my spirit" in the comments if your heart is receiving this. Blessing code 144 is now released. Dearest soul, lean in now, because what I am about to reveal flows directly from the urgency Archangel Michael has been carrying for over 7 hours. This moment is not ordinary, and you can already feel it in your spirit. The air around you feels heavier. Your heartbeat feels slightly louder, and something inside you knows that these words are not meant to be brushed aside. They are a continuation of the message heaven has been trying to deliver to you for far too long. Archangel Michael stands with his sword drawn, not in anger toward you, but in fierce protection over what is being opened in your life right now. For 7 hours, he has been watching the attempts to block your awareness, the emotional interruptions, the mental fog, the small inconveniences that tried to derail your focus. All of it was designed to keep you from reaching this very moment. Yet here you are, listening, absorbing, awakening. This alone is proof that heaven's timing cannot fail, and that your spirit is stronger than every distraction that tried to consume you. There is something Michael needs you to understand. You have been walking through life with a partial picture. Pieces of truth have reached you, but never the full revelation. People around you have sensed things about you, but you never saw in yourself. Some have recognized your gift long before you acknowledged it. Others have felt threatened by your destiny without you knowing why. Some observed your breakthroughs coming before you did. And a few sensed that God's hand was on you, even when you doubted it yourself. This creates a spiritual imbalance, everyone else sensing the truth, while you remain unaware of the light within you. But Michael says that imbalance ends now. You have been carrying a divine blueprint inside you, an assignment, a calling, a spiritual weight that explains why your life has never been normal. The struggles you faced were not random. The delays were not accidental. The emotional pressures that came out of nowhere, the sudden heaviness right before important opportunities, the unexplainable spiritual warfare, none of it was without reason. Something powerful within you has been preparing to emerge, and every force that fears your awakening has been working overtime to keep you spiritually distracted. For over 7 hours, Archangel Michael has been guarding a specific truth about your path. This truth is connected to your identity, who you truly are in the unseen realm, who are not weak, not overlooked, not forgotten, not ordinary. Heaven recognizes you. Hell fears you. And the earth is waiting for the version of you with clarity. What you feel as confusion is often spiritual resistance trying to prevent you from stepping into that clarity. Archangel Michael has seen you questioning yourself. He has seen moments when you doubted whether your dreams were still possible, whether your prayers were being heard, whether your life was moving too slowly, whether you were already too late. But your doubts were never signs of failure. They were signs of preparation. Heaven delays revelation until the moment your heart is capable of holding it without breaking. And that moment is now. There is a truth tied to your past that you have not fully understood. Something that seemed like abandonment was actually protection. Something that looked like rejection was divine redirection. Something that felt like loss was a spiritual pruning to make space for what is coming. Michael has watched you carry emotional weight that was never meant to be your burden. You mistook it for weakness, but he sees it as spiritual sensitivity, a sensitivity that is finally being sharpened into discernment. There are forces in your environment that have known more about your spiritual path than you realized. People have spoken about you in rooms you were never invited into. Some admired you. Some envied you. Some misunderstood you. A few even misjudged you. But none of their opinions can alter the calling that heaven placed on your name. Michael says the truth they sensed, the truth they whispered about, the truth you overlooked, will soon rise to the surface in a way you can no longer ignore. You have been wondering why you feel restless lately, why you feel like time is moving faster, why you sense urgency without explanation, why your spirit feels like it is waiting for something you cannot name. That feeling is not anxiety. It is awakening. You are stepping into a revelation that will unlock parts of your destiny you were never allowed to comprehend before. Heaven does not rush, but when the appointed time arrives, everything shifts at once. Archangel Michael has been waiting, because this moment requires courage from you. Once the truth is revealed, you will not be able to unsee it. It will change the way you perceive yourself, your relationships, your path, and your future. But this change will not weaken you. It will free you. Michael is preparing to show you why certain people drifted away, why certain opportunities closed, and why certain emotional waves hit you at the strangest times. Every unanswered question is about to receive clarity. You are on the edge of a spiritual unveiling. And child, what comes next will reshape the way you navigate your life. It will shift your confidence, sharpen your spirit, and ignite the dormant power inside you. Stay present, because the next revelation carries the core of the message Michael has been trying to deliver. Before you move any further, steady your heart. The next words will carry weight, and you will understand why heaven has kept you from scrolling away today. Type "I am ready for truth" in the comments if your spirit is aligning. Blessing code 311 is now unlocked. Precious one, breathe slowly and stay with me, because what unfolds now carries the sharpest edge of revelation yet. You have been brought here by divine orchestration, and Archangel Michael has positioned himself closer to you in this moment than you may realize. His presence is not symbolic, it is intentional. You were guided into this message because something in your spiritual atmosphere has reached a tipping point. What has been hidden from you for years, what others sensed, what heaven observed, and what the enemy tried to keep from your awareness, is now rising to the surface with undeniable clarity. Michael has been watching the patterns around you, the cycles you keep encountering, and the silent battles you never told anyone about. He has seen your confusion, your questions, your hesitation, your exhaustion, and your quiet frustration with yourself. He has watched you try to convince yourself that everything was fine, even when your spirit felt unsettled. He has watched you shrink your voice, your intuition, your identity, simply because you did not understand the weight of who you truly are. But that season of misunderstanding ends here. There is a reason heaven needed your attention urgently. There is a reason the message declared that you had already wasted too much time. There is a reason Michael was calling out to you, asking where you had been. It is because the truth you are about to receive is time-sensitive. Not earthly time, but spiritual timing. The window is open now, and heaven does not want you to delay any longer. You are being ushered out of spiritual blindness and into divine awareness, and the enemy fears this shift more than anything. For years, you have been walking under a mantle of spiritual significance without realizing it. Pieces of it surfaced in your compassion, your sensitivity, your intuition, your dreams, your sudden insights, and your emotional depth. You thought those qualities were ordinary or simply personality traits, but Michael says they were divine indicators of your calling. The reason you felt out of place in many environments is because you were never meant to fit into them. You are spiritually marked. You are spiritually chosen. And heaven has been waiting for the moment when you would finally recognize this truth for yourself. There have been people in your life who sensed your destiny long before you did. Some were drawn to your light. Some were confused by it. Some were intimidated by it. Some tried to dim it. And a few, though they never admitted it, feared what you would become once you fully awaken. They saw fragments of your potential, and although you never recognized it, their actions toward you were shaped by what they perceived spiritually. This is why you experience strange shifts in relationships. This is why certain people suddenly changed their tone with you. This is why some friendships could not last. You were evolving spiritually, and they were reacting to it subconsciously. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something critical. You are not behind. You have not failed. You have not missed your moment. You are right on schedule. Heaven's frustration was never about your timing. It was about the forces trying to steal your awareness. The enemy cannot stop your destiny, but he can delay your perception of it. That delay has created confusion, stagnation, emotional heaviness, and cycles of spiritual fatigue. But now that you are hearing this message, the veil begins to lift. Awareness begins to rise. Strength begins to return. The reason you felt watched, judged, or misunderstood lately is because people around you have perceived shifts in your spiritual energy. Even those who do not understand spiritual language can sense when someone is stepping into alignment. They may not articulate it, but they feel it. And this shift in you has already begun, even before you realized it consciously. Michael says this is why your dreams have intensified. This is why your emotions feel amplified. This is why your intuition suddenly spikes without warning. You are awakening into the truth of who you are. Now, understand this deeply. Revelation is responsibility. Once you receive clarity, you cannot return to the versions of yourself that lived in confusion. This is why heaven waited until this moment to release the truth. You are strong enough now to carry it. You are stable enough to understand it. And you are spiritually mature enough to act on it. What comes next will not overwhelm you. It will empower you. Michael is preparing to reveal the specific truth that everyone around you sensed, but you never realized. It is personal, precise, and life-altering. Do not be afraid. When the truth appears, it will not destroy you. It will unlock you. And when it unlocks you, the chains that clung to your spirit for years will lose their grip entirely. Before this phase of revelation continues, steady yourself. The next unveiling will land directly in your spirit, and you will finally understand why heaven fought so hard to get your attention today. Stay with this message. Your spirit is on the verge of a shift you will remember for the rest of your life. If this is stirring something in your heart, write "I claim my awakening" in the comments. Blessing code 808 is now activated. Now, before we continue, take a moment to like this message, share it so another soul can receive their awakening, comment to stay engaged in this prophetic flow, and subscribe so you never miss a word heaven releases through this space. And now, let me speak directly to those whose spirits feel called to support this mission. What you are feeling is not coincidence. This message is part of a divine assignment to awaken hearts, restore destinies, and break spiritual blindness. And when you support this work, you become a vessel through which God reaches others. Every seed you sow becomes a beam of light sent into the lives of those still trapped in confusion. Just as Archangel Michael fights for revelation, your support becomes a spiritual weapon that carries this message to more souls. I speak this as a living declaration. Your giving becomes a river of blessing returning back into your life. And hear me clearly, beloved. I am asking you personally to stand with this mission. The same urgency flowing through this message is the urgency flowing through this invitation. If God is stirring your heart to respond, obey without hesitation. For those who choose to act, I release a prophetic blessing over your seed. May open heavens, divine protection, and accelerated revelation follow your life. Use Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description to release your support. Move now, with boldness and faith. Beloved soul, come closer in your spirit, because what unfolds now moves deeper than anything revealed before. You have walked through life sensing undercurrents, moments where something felt off, moments where your intuition stirred without explanation, moments where you felt guided yet unsure of where the guidance was leading. Archangel Michael has watched these moments, not with disappointment, but with fierce compassion. He knows how long you have been navigating life with only fragments of the full picture. And now, he is ready to place the missing piece into your hands. There is a truth that has been circling around your life, like a quiet storm, visible to those who paid attention, yet invisible to you, because you were too close to the situation. This truth is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. When heaven says everyone knows except you, it means that the spiritual atmosphere has been aware of your calling, your gift, and your divine identity long before you consciously recognized it. People around you have witnessed glimpses of it. Moments when your presence shifted the room, moments when your words carried unusual weight, moments when your sensitivity felt almost supernatural. You dismiss these moments as coincidence, but Michael says they were prophetic indicators. You have been walking with a spiritual mantle that you never truly understood. From childhood, you sensed things others did not. You felt emotions deeply, saw through people's intentions instinctively, felt heaviness in rooms without knowing why, and picked up on energies long before the term energy ever meant anything to you. At times you felt abnormal, or too emotional, or too alert, but this was not a flaw. It was evidence of the spiritual assignment on your life. Michael has been waiting to reveal this to you, because now you are spiritually ready to handle the truth. You are not just sensitive, you are spiritually wired. Heaven designed your spirit to detect shifts, to sense attacks, to feel danger, to discern motives, and to understand people beyond their words. This is why certain individuals grew uncomfortable around you. Your spirit exposed what their words tried to hide. This is why people confided in you instinctively. Their souls recognized something safe in you, even when you didn't see it yourself. This is also why some individuals rejected you, avoided you, or misunderstood you. Your presence confronted their shadows. You never intended to intimidate anyone, yet your spirit revealed truths they were not ready to face. Archangel Michael has watched you misinterpret your own power. You thought something was wrong with you, when in reality, something was right, so right that darkness tried to dim it before you even understood it. You thought you were overly emotional, when in truth, you were spiritually perceptive. You thought you were overthinking situations, when in truth, you were recognizing spiritual warfare. You thought you were too soft, too kind, or too forgiving, when in truth, you carried the heart of someone heaven trusted. And now, Michael speaks clearly. The reason heaven has been urgent with you, the reason your timing mattered, the reason he waited for you to tune into this message, is because your spiritual mantle is activating. What was dormant is waking up. What was hidden is surfacing. What was suppressed is rising with force. You are transitioning from spiritual blindness to spiritual authority, and this shift will change your relationships, your environment, your decisions, and your entire inner world. There are forces that have known your identity long before you did. Darkness recognized your potential the moment you entered this world. This is why you faced battles others did not understand. This is why you experienced warfare that felt unfair. This is why your heart was targeted, your peace was disrupted, and your mind was often weighed down. The enemy saw what you had not yet discovered, and desperately tried to confuse you before you could awaken into your own strength. But that confusion ends now. Michael says you have crossed a line in the spiritual realm. What was once hidden from you is no longer permitted to remain concealed. Your spirit has reached maturity, and heaven is ready to entrust you with knowledge you were not ready for before. You are stepping into a phase where your discernment will sharpen, your intuition will intensify, and your vision, spiritually and emotionally, will expand. You will begin to understand things in real time. What used to confuse you will suddenly make sense. Patterns will become visible. Motives will reveal themselves. And the cycles that once trapped you will lose their power. This is why heaven warned you not to treat this message as a joke. This is not entertainment. This is intervention. Michael has been fighting for the right moment to reveal what you were shielded from. And now that moment has come. You will begin to see the truth about certain people, why they behaved the way they did, why they were drawn to you, or why they suddenly withdrew from you. You will understand emotional shifts that once felt random. You will recognize spiritual tests that once felt like suffering. And you will reclaim the confidence that life tried to strip from you. Before this revelation deepens further, steady your heart. What comes next will confront a deeper layer of truth, one you are finally strong enough to see clearly. Do not pull away. Do not lose focus. You have made it too far into this divine unveiling to turn back now. What awaits you is understanding, strength, and spiritual alignment like you have never known before. If your spirit feels this unlocking something within you, write "I walk in revelation" in the comments. Blessing code 1909 is now released. Beloved, quiet your thoughts for a moment, because what is about to be spoken reaches into the deepest chambers of your spirit. You have already felt the shift happening inside you. Parts of your life that once felt confusing are beginning to make sense. Moments that seemed random now feel purposeful. You are starting to understand why Archangel Michael waited for you, why he called you urgently, why the heavens were unsettled until you arrived here. This unfolding is not accidental. It is the continuation of a revelation that has been chasing you for years, waiting for the moment your heart would be strong enough to receive its full weight. Michael stands beside you even now, watching the layers of blindness peel off your vision. He has guarded you through seasons where you could not guard yourself. He has blocked attacks you never knew were coming. He has silenced voices that intended to speak against you. He has stepped between you and danger when you felt completely alone. And although you may not have realized it then, every moment of protection was preparing you for this awakening. Heaven does nothing without purpose, and everything you have endured has been leading you toward a truth that will change how you see yourself forever. There is a reason your life has not followed a normal rhythm. You have always felt slightly out of alignment with the world around you. You tried to blend in, to behave normally, to silence your intuition, to ignore the signals your spirit kept sending. But every time you tried to suppress your sensitivity, something inside you felt wrong. You tried to convince yourself you were imagining things. You tried to rationalize away your instincts. You tried to be logical in moments when your spirit was screaming. But now Archangel Michael whispers, nothing you felt was accidental. You were designed to sense more, feel more, know more, discern more. Your spiritual sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a calling. There have been moments when you walked into a room and instantly felt tension without anyone speaking. Moments when someone told you everything was fine, but something inside you sensed the truth. Moments when you woke up with a strange heaviness for no apparent reason. Moments when you dreamt of things before they happened. Moments when you felt danger without evidence. Moments when certain people made your spirit uneasy even if they appeared friendly. All of these experiences were indicators of your spiritual wiring. You are connected to realms beyond the physical, and Michael has been waiting for you to acknowledge this truth so you can finally walk in it consciously. Heaven has been whispering to you through subtle signs. You were being guided long before you realized you were being guided. Think back to those sudden urges to distance yourself from certain people. Think back to situations you almost walked into, but something pulled you away. Think back to opportunities that closed unexpectedly, only for something better to emerge later. Those were not coincidences. They were divine alarms activated on your behalf. Michael has been keeping watch over your path, steering you away from traps and aligning you with blessings you were not yet prepared to receive. But here's where the truth becomes sharper. For a long time, someone around you sensed your spiritual significance. They saw something rare in you. They recognized the purity, the strength, the clarity, the intuitive depth you carried, even when you did not see it in yourself. This person may not have spoken it aloud, but their spirit responded to yours. Some responded with admiration. Some responded with jealousy. Some responded with confusion. And some responded with fear. Not fear of you, but fear of what you were becoming. Your presence awakens truth, and not everyone is comfortable with truth. There are individuals who have observed you closely. Some with good intentions, others with questionable motives. Michael has seen this. Heaven has taken note. Even when you were unaware, eyes were on you. People have tried to understand you, categorize you, predict you, and even limit you. But none of them truly understood what heaven placed inside you. They sensed your light, but they could not comprehend it. And this is why you have often felt misunderstood. You were surrounded by people who saw glimpses of your identity, but lacked the spiritual maturity to interpret it correctly. Archangel Michael now reveals that your awakening is not just about understanding your spiritual gifts. It is about reclaiming authority over your life. You have spent years doubting yourself, questioning your value, seeking validation, and underestimating your own power. You looked outward for reassurance you were meant to find within. But now heaven declares that the season of self-doubt is ending. The moment you recognize who you are in the spirit is the moment the enemy loses its influence over your mind. You are stepping into a rising season, a moment where you become aware of the truth everyone else sensed long before you. The truth that you carry a rare spiritual glow. The truth that your intuition is a divine instrument. The truth that your presence carries healing. The truth that your words shift atmospheres. The truth that your spirit disrupts darkness effortlessly. The truth that heaven trusts you with insight others are not ready to receive. And the truth that your destiny is larger than the limitations life tried to impose on you. This is why Michael waited for you for over 7 hours. Not because of impatience, but because the timing had finally aligned. You are ready now. Your heart is ready. Your spirit is ready. Your mind is ready. And your destiny is ready to ignite. But before the next revelation unfolds, hold this moment gently within your soul. What comes next will reveal a truth that may shock you, not to harm you, but to empower you. The spiritual world has been whispering this truth for years. Now it is time for you to hear it clearly. If this message is resonating deeply, write "I receive my divine identity" in the comments. Blessing Ode 4444 is now released. Beloved heart, settle yourself, because what is about to unfold carries a depth that your spirit has been longing to understand, even when your mind could not fully grasp it. You have been walking with questions that lingered in the back of your consciousness, questions you tried to ignore, questions you assumed would fade with time yet continued to follow you quietly. Archangel Michael has heard every one of these questions, even the ones you never dared to speak aloud. And now, he stands ready to answer what has been left unresolved for far too long. You have reached a point in your journey where heaven no longer wants you living on fragments of truth. You have been receiving hints, signs, sensations, and spiritual nudges for years, but the full picture was always just beyond your reach. Not because you were unworthy of it, but because the timing had not yet aligned. Revelation arrives only when the heart is steady enough to hold it, and Michael declares that your heart has finally reached that strength. What you are walking into now is the unveiling of a truth that was hidden not to punish you, but to prepare you. There is something in your life, something connected to your past, your relationships, your decisions, and your spiritual identity, that has shaped your entire journey without you realizing its influence. You have felt it in moments of sudden clarity, in sudden heaviness, in sudden waves of recognition. You sensed that something deeper was happening beneath the surface, yet you could not name it. That inability to identify what you were feeling has been the greatest source of your confusion. It created emotional fog. It created spiritual fatigue. It created questions without answers. But today, the fog begins to lift, and the answers begin to form. Archangel Michael reveals this: you were never confused. You were spiritually interrupted. There were forces that sensed your awakening long before you did. They recognized the moment you were born that your spirit would one day activate into clarity, authority, and purpose. And because of this, your journey has been opposed from the beginning. You faced battles that made no sense, burdens that felt too heavy, emotional wounds that should not have cut as deeply as they did. These experiences were not random attacks. They were attempts to distort your perception of yourself before you could understand your own power. Think back to the moments when you were closest to breakthrough. Something always seemed to go wrong. A distraction appeared. A conflict surfaced. A disappointment struck. A person you trusted shifted unexpectedly. An emotion hit you with unexpected force. These were not coincidences. Every time you approached a moment of spiritual elevation, interference entered your atmosphere. And Michael wants you to understand that these interruptions were not a sign of weakness. They were evidence of your significance. Heaven has watched your resilience. Even when you felt fragile, heaven saw your strength. Even when you felt lost, heaven saw your direction. Even when you felt alone, heaven surrounded you with protection. You have survived storms that would have crushed other souls. You have endured heartbreaks that would have hardened other hearts. You have walked through darkness that would have silenced the spirits of those with lesser purpose. But you, beloved, continue to rise. Even when you stumble, you rose. Even when you doubted, you rose. Even when you felt broken, you rose. And that rising is the very reason Michael has been urgently pursuing your attention. There has been a secret truth about your life that others sensed before you did. Some people admired you for it without telling you. Others envied you for it without admitting it. A few feared it because they felt their own shadows exposed in your presence. Some felt drawn to you because your light offered comfort they could not find elsewhere. Others withdrew from you because your clarity threatened their hidden intentions. You have been wondering why people reacted to you in ways that made no sense. But now the explanation becomes clear. Your spirit speaks even when your mouth says nothing. Michael wants you to understand the magnitude of what you carry. You have a divine imprint upon your life that cannot be erased, diluted, or hidden. Even when you felt like you were losing yourself, your spirit remained marked. Even when you doubted your own worth, heaven did not. Even when life tried to reshape you through pain, your purpose remained intact. You were not meant to blend in. You were meant to disturb the darkness by existing. And here is the truth that shifts everything. The reason heaven has been so urgent with you is because you are about to step into a chapter where clarity replaces confusion, where strength replaces hesitation, where understanding replaces fear. You will begin to see patterns you never noticed before. You will sense spiritual activity with clarity rather than anxiety. You will recognize the intentions of people before they reveal themselves. You will understand the lessons behind every season you survived. And most importantly, you will finally realize why heaven never gave up on you. There is an unveiling coming, one that will expose something you have not fully acknowledged, something connected to your identity, something connected to your destiny, something connected to the way heaven sees you. It will shift everything. Michael says this truth must be revealed gently, but with authority, because once you see it, your spirit will undergo a transformation that cannot be reversed. You will walk differently, speak differently, choose differently, trust differently. And you will carry yourself with a sense of purpose that has been waiting to emerge for years. Before this next revelation arrives, hold your spirit steady. What comes next will not frighten you. It will free you. You will begin to understand why the spiritual realm has been watching you closely, why heaven's urgency increased, and why you were called into this message at precisely the right time. If your heart is awakening as you read this, write "I walk in my divine truth" in the comments. Blessing code 919 is now released. Beloved, allow your spirit to lean into this moment, because what comes now is a layer of revelation that heaven has been waiting to place upon your heart with delicate precision. You have traveled through confusion, through awakening, through the quiet unveiling of truths that once hid themselves in shadows. And now, Archangel Michael draws even closer, his presence firm but gentle, as he prepares to reveal the next portion of understanding that will complete the pattern forming within your spirit. This is not just another message. This is the very truth that connects every past experience, every inner stirring, every unanswered question you have carried across years of your life. Michael has watched you step through seasons that shifted abruptly, without warning. Times when life seemed to rearrange itself overnight. Times when people suddenly changed toward you, leaving you questioning what happened beneath the surface. Times when your peace vanished without explanation. Times when your heart ached in ways you could not articulate. And while you saw these moments as disjointed, painful, or confusing, heaven saw them as markers. Signposts guiding you toward the truth that is emerging right now. You must understand this. Your life has never been random. Every pattern you experienced had an origin. Every shift had a spiritual root. Every sudden disturbance was tied to something bigger. And every moment of clarity was a glimpse of the truth that is now unfolding with full force. Michael says the reason your journey felt disproportionate, the reason your highs were incredibly high and your lows painfully deep, is because your spirit was being prepared for a level of awareness that most people are never entrusted with. You were being shaped not for normalcy, but for spiritual significance. There is something heaven has been hinting at for years. Something that everyone else sensed, but you did not recognize. The truth is this: your presence disrupts the spiritual atmosphere. When you enter a space, energies shift. When you speak, hearts absorb more than just your words. When you are silent, your spirit still communicates. Some people felt uplifted around you without knowing why. Others felt uncomfortable and avoided you without understanding their own reactions. And you, unaware of your spiritual influence, took their behavior personally, not realizing that your very existence was stirring things they were not ready to confront. Michael has seen you question yourself because of these reactions. He has seen you wonder whether something was wrong with you. He has seen you retreat into silence out of fear of being misunderstood. But he declares now that none of this was your fault. You were carrying spiritual authority without being aware of it. Your presence carries light that exposes shadows. Your intuition senses shifts before they manifest. Your spirit identifies truth before your mind can comprehend it. You were never the problem. You were the mirror revealing what others tried to hide. People around you have known something was unusual about you. Some admired it. Some tried to take advantage of it. Some tried to suppress it. Some tried to label you to make themselves more comfortable. They did not understand that what they sensed around you was not weakness. It was calling. It was anointing. It was spiritual identity rising through the cracks of your everyday life. Michael says you must stop interpreting your experiences through the lens of self-doubt. Start interpreting them through the lens of spiritual significance. The battles you faced were not because you were fragile. They were because you were powerful. The people who mistreated you were not threatened by your personality. They were unsettled by your spirit. The delays in your life were not failures. They were divine protections rearranging your path. And the heaviness you carried was not emotional weakness. It was spiritual sensitivity responding to forces you could not yet name. And now, heaven declares something important. The truth you are stepping into is not new. It has been hovering around you for years. You simply were not ready to receive it. But now your heart is open. Your spirit is alert, and your mind has expanded to receive revelation without fear. Michael speaks with clarity. You have a spiritual calling that has been dormant, waiting for you to awaken into it. This calling is why heaven pursued you relentlessly. This calling is why messages like this reach you at the exact moment you need them. This calling is why your spirit responds so strongly to truth, even when you don't understand why. You are being positioned for something greater, something purposeful, something sacred, something that will not only impact your life, but will ripple into the lives of others. You may not fully see it yet, but the spiritual realm sees it clearly. And Michael has been waiting patiently, yet urgently, for the moment when he could finally unveil this truth without overwhelming you. The revelation that follows will require strength. It will require clarity. It will require honesty with yourself. But it will also set you free from years of confusion. It will explain why certain relationships never work. It will explain why you always felt a sense of distance from the world. It will explain why you felt drawn to spiritual truth, even when you didn't have the language to express it. It will explain why destiny kept calling your name, even in your quietest seasons. Heaven is preparing you for understanding, for empowerment, and for alignment. The next unveiling will go deeper into the core of who you are spiritually and what you were born to become. Stay present. Stay open. Stay attuned. What is coming next holds the heart of the entire message. If your spirit feels the stirring of this awakening, write "My spirit hears the truth" in the comments. Blessing code 2727 is now released. Beloved one, take a slow breath and prepare your heart, because what unfolds now brings you to the threshold of a revelation that has been circling your life, like a silent prophecy waiting for its moment. You have traveled through awakening, through recognition, through spiritual alignment, and now Archangel Michael stands before the final veil that separates what you thought you knew about yourself from what heaven has always known. This is not a moment to rush. This is a moment to feel, a moment to receive, a moment to allow the truth to settle into the deepest places of your being. Heaven has waited years for this unveiling, and now the timing is perfect. Michael's presence is different now, stronger, sharper, more deliberate. He stands in a posture of authority, not to frighten you, but to steady you. What is coming next is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to awaken you fully. You have been living with a half-light, the kind that lets you sense, but not fully see, the kind that lets you feel, but not fully understand. This half-light has guided you, pushed you, and nudged you, but it has also kept you wondering why life constantly felt like a mystery you were meant to solve but never given all the clues for. Archangel Michael whispers now, that mystery ends here. Heaven has watched you struggle with your identity, not because you lacked worth, but because you were carrying spiritual insight without realizing you were carrying. You have felt things deeply because you were meant to. You have sensed shifts before they happened, because your spirit was already awake. You have felt guided toward certain people and away from others, even when you could not explain why. You have felt emotional waves that didn't belong to you. You have felt heaviness from rooms, tension from conversations, and spiritual noise from places that appeared calm on the surface. These experiences were not random. They were spiritual interactions, signs of your alignment with higher realms. Michael reveals something vital now. Your life has been spiritually observed, not in a threatening way, but in a protective way. Heaven has monitored your path, your choices, your pain, your breakthroughs, and your silence. Not because you were fragile, but because you were chosen. You carry a calling that others sensed before you ever became aware of it. They saw your resilience. They saw your intuition. They saw your heart, even when it was hurting. They saw the glow in your spirit, even when you felt dim. They saw the promise before you recognized the process. And here is the truth. Archangel Michael now speaks with unmistakable clarity. You have a spiritual assignment on your life. It has been there since childhood. It has whispered to you through every season. It has been the reason you survived battles others would not have survived. It has been the reason your heart refused to turn cold. It has been the reason you kept rising even when you wanted to give up. Your calling does not come from your talent, it comes from your spirit. And because it comes from your spirit, no force in existence can take it from you. The truth is this: you were never meant to live an ordinary life. Ordinary would suffocate you. Ordinary would shrink you. Ordinary would silence the spiritual strength that was placed inside you before you ever took your first breath. You were engineered for impact, for discernment, for spiritual clarity, and for emotional understanding that transcends logic. You were crafted to carry wisdom that arrives long before experience. You were created to see the world not as it is, but as it is spiritually becoming. Michael shows you now the truth that everyone around you sensed. You carry a rare purity, a rare strength, a rare perception. Some people misinterpreted it. Some felt threatened by it. Some tried to take advantage of it. Some cherished it without telling you. But no matter how they responded, they all felt it. And now heaven needs you to feel it too, not as imagination, not as guessing, but as truth. The reason Michael insisted you hurry, the reason he warned you not to ignore this, is because your awakening marks a shift that affects more than just you. When someone with a calling awakens, heaven celebrates, but darkness trembles. Because a spiritually awakened soul carries influence. A spiritually awakened soul carries light that fills hidden spaces. A spiritually awakened soul becomes a doorway for healing, clarity, and transformation in the lives of others. This is why your life has been difficult. This is why your spirit has been targeted. This is why certain relationships broke when you didn't expect them to. This is why people misunderstood you. This is why you often had to walk alone. You were being separated so you could see yourself clearly. The truth is not that you were alone. The truth is that heaven was isolating you long enough for your identity to rise from beneath the noise of the world. And now, as this part of the revelation settles in your soul, Michael stands firm and declares, the awakening is no longer coming. It is here. You are stepping into a new spiritual posture, one that will transform everything from the way you perceive people to the way you perceive your own purpose. The next layer of revelation will expose the exact truth others saw in you. The truth that explains everything. The truth that will shift your understanding forever. Before you continue, pause for a moment in your spirit and let this truth settle. What comes next carries the core of the message Michael has been waiting 7 hours to deliver. If this message resonates with your spirit, write "My Awakening" is now in the comments. Blessing code 5050 is now released. Take a moment to like this message. Comment to stay connected in the spiritual flow. Share it to awaken another soul, and subscribe so heaven's words reach you without delay. Now, for those who feel a pull in their spirit, let me speak directly to you. This message is not just awakening you. It is awakening a mission. When you support this work, you become a vessel through which God reaches the hearts of those still lost in confusion. Your support turns revelation into a lifeline for someone else. Just as Archangel Michael fights to deliver truth, your giving becomes a spiritual act that carries this message into more lives. Hear this clearly. I feel led to invite you personally, yes, you, into this mission. When you sow into this work, heaven opens a river of blessing over your life. Stand with this divine calling. Release through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description. Move now with obedience and faith. Be loved. Settle your soul and lean closer, because what you are about to hear carries the deepest vibration yet. The message has been unfolding piece by piece, but now Archangel Michael steps into a realm of revelation that touches the very root of your destiny. Everything you have felt up to this moment, every stirring, every shift, every awakening, has been preparing you for the unveiling that begins now. This is not a surface-level truth. This is the truth that has shaped your entire life without your awareness. And once it reaches your spirit fully, something within you will ignite in a way that cannot be undone. Michael stands over your journey like a guardian who has watched every step you have ever taken. He has seen your battles, your heartbreaks, your disappointments, your breakthroughs, your confusion, and your resilience. He has witnessed every silent prayer, every tear that never reached your eyes, every moment you pretended to be strong when your heart was shaking. And through all of it, He has been trying to guide you toward this moment of realization. You were never walking towards this revelation alone. Heaven was pulling you toward it. Now, Michael begins to reveal something profound. Everything in your life has been interconnected. Every season of loss, every season of waiting, every season of recalibration, it all has roots in the same spiritual truth. There is a calling on your life, so powerful that heaven protected it even when you didn't know it existed. This calling has pulled you through storms, lifted you from the edge of emotional collapse, and kept you from paths that would have destroyed you. Even your pain has been a teacher, shaping you for the moment when your identity could finally emerge from hiding. You have always felt different. Even when you tried to fit in, something inside you resisted conformity. You sensed things others overlooked. You paid attention to details others dismissed. You felt emotional and spiritual shifts before anyone spoke a word. You experienced déjà vu with moments that felt strangely familiar. You felt energies move in environments that appeared calm on the surface. These were not accidents. These were not quirks. These were signatures of your spiritual design. Michael reveals, now that you carry a depth of spiritual perception that many people go their entire lives without accessing. You have the ability to feel truth before you understand it. You can sense danger before it manifests. You can read intentions without asking questions. You can absorb emotional frequencies that bypass the intellect and go straight to the heart. And because of this, people have responded to you in unusual ways. Some trusted you without reason. Some were intimidated without explanation. Some tried to cling to you because your presence brought them comfort. Some withdrew because your spirit saw too deeply. You have been on the receiving end of behavior that made no sense, and you blamed yourself for it. But Michael says the truth is simple. Your soul activates responses in others that they cannot control. This is why you often feel responsible for the emotions of people around you. You are spiritually receptive. Your empathy is not emotional softness. It is spiritual wiring. You feel more because you carry more. You care more because your heart was shaped to hold more. You understand more because your discernment was never meant to be ordinary. You were not created to function at the level of surface perception. You were created to operate with depth, but this depth came with a price. You faced challenges that others could not comprehend. You carried burdens you never asked for. You absorbed pain that was not your own. At times, your own emotions felt too heavy because they were intertwined with energies that did not originate within you. Michael says you were not losing control. You were learning to recognize the difference between what was yours and what was spiritual interference. Your whole life has been shaped by the tension between who you thought you were and who heaven has always known you to be. But now, the tension begins to break. Michael reveals that you are stepping into a chapter where your spiritual identity will no longer hide behind confusion. You are awakening into a version of yourself that sees clearly, feels confidently, and understands intuitively. The veil is lifting from your perception. You will begin to trust your instincts again. You will begin to recognize divine guidance instantly. You will begin to walk with the authority you were born with, not the uncertainty life imposed on you. And here is the revelation that strikes at the core of your being. You have not been waiting for heaven. Heaven has been waiting for you. Waiting for your courage. Waiting for your clarity. Waiting for your readiness. Waiting for the moment when you could receive the truth without shrinking back into fear. You have reached that moment now. Your spirit has expanded. Your heart has matured. Your awareness has awakened. You are finally ready to see what others saw in you long before you understood it. Michael says you are more powerful in the spirit than you realize. You have survived battles that were meant to bury you. You have risen from wounds that should have crippled your faith. You have walked through fire without losing your softness. That is not weakness. That is divine resilience. That is evidence of who you are becoming. The next revelation will expose the truth that has been whispering through every moment of your life. It will illuminate your purpose, your identity, and your spiritual role. But before that unveiling arrives, prepare your heart. You are stepping into knowledge that carries weight, strength, and destiny. If you feel this stirring your spirit, write "I align with my purpose" in the comments. Blessing code 1212 is now released. Beloved, breathe deeply and stay close, because what unfolds now carries a sacred gravity. You have walked through layers of revelation, each one sharpening your understanding, each one awakening a part of you that had been asleep for years. But now, Archangel Michael steps into a deeper realm, one that reveals the truth behind your journey in a way that will cause something in your spirit to rise with fresh authority. This is not mere information. This is identity. This is destiny. This is the moment where everything begins to connect so clearly that you will look back on your entire life and finally recognize the patterns heaven was trying to show you. Michael stands at your side now with a presence that feels both comforting and commanding. He has watched your heart endure storms you never deserved, heartbreaks you didn't see coming, betrayals that cut deeper than you admitted, and loneliness that lingered even in crowded rooms. Through every silent moment of struggle, he stood guard, not because you were weak, but because your destiny required protection. You were never fighting alone. You have been accompanied by divine presence every step of the way. And now Michael speaks with clarity. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single moment of confusion. Not a single delay. Not a single disappointment. Every experience, good or painful, was shaping the vessel that would one day carry this level of spiritual awareness. You are not just growing through your seasons. You are being refined for your purpose. There is something your spirit has sensed, but could never fully articulate. A feeling that you were meant for something more. Not necessarily fame, not necessarily worldly success, but spiritual significance. You sense that your emotions were deeper than others. You sense that your intuition was louder than logic. You sense that you saw things differently, felt things differently, interpreted the world differently. You sense that your life was not meant to be ordinary. Michael confirms now that this sense has been correct all along. You were born with a spiritual blueprint, one that has been unfolding piece by piece, often without your conscious awareness. While you walked through the world feeling misunderstood, heaven watched you with recognition. While you doubted your worth, heaven saw your potential. While you questioned your identity, heaven affirmed your calling. And now the veil is lifting so you can finally see what heaven has always known about you. Michael reveals something profound. You have a rare spiritual resilience. You have survived emotional storms that would have crushed others. You endured loneliness that would have hardened the hearts of many. You walked through seasons of silence where it felt like even God wasn't speaking, yet your spirit never fully disconnected. You continued to seek truth, even when truth felt far from you. This resilience is not accidental. It is part of your spiritual design. You were created to withstand pressure because your destiny requires strength. You have always been sensitive to energies, emotions, and unspoken truths. Sensitivity is not fragility, it is spiritual intelligence. The deeper your sensitivity, the stronger your discernment. And the stronger your discernment, the greater your purpose. You were not designed to operate at surface level. Your spirit demands depth. Your soul craves truth. Your heart responds to things others overlook. This is why normality never felt natural to you. You were never meant to live a life built on shallow foundations. Michael shows you now how your experiences have been shaped by unseen realms. People were drawn to you because your presence soothed their spirits, even when you didn't realize it. Others avoided you because your spirit exposed intentions they hoped to hide. Some people tried to take from you because they sensed a well of strength inside you. Others tried to silence you because your words carried awakening. You have been a mirror, revealing truths in others they were not ready to face. You blamed yourself for their reactions. But Michael says, it was never about you. It was about what your spirit activated in them. The truth is that your very presence carries spiritual weight. You shift rooms. You shift atmospheres. You shift people. And because you are now awakening to this truth, your influence will only increase. Heaven has been protecting your development, ensuring that no one could extract from you what you were not yet equipped to give. You have been refined in quiet seasons so that you could emerge empowered during this one. Michael now reveals a deeper layer of truth, one that may feel overwhelming at first, but will settle into your heart like a missing piece finally being returned. You are a carrier of truth. Not just emotional truth or experiential truth, but spiritual truth. You have been marked with the capacity to see beneath illusions, to feel beneath words, to understand beneath appearances. Your spirit is aligned with discernment, which means deception cannot cling to you for long. This is why you always eventually see through people. This is why you often feel something is wrong, even when everything looks right. This is why your heart warns you before your mind understands. This gift has been with you since the beginning. But now, it is entering its awakening stage. Michael says your spirit is expanding. Your perception is sharpening. Your awareness is rising. And soon, you will understand the full truth of the message heaven has been trying to deliver for 7 hours. The truth that explains why your life unfolded the way it did. The truth that explains why you were chosen. The truth that explains why you were called urgently. The truth that explains what everyone sensed about you while you remained unaware. Before the next revelation unveils itself, steady your spirit. This awakening is not meant to frighten you, only to empower you. You are not stepping into confusion, you are stepping into clarity. You are not stepping into fear, you are stepping into identity. And once identity rises, destiny follows. If you feel this awakening stirring inside you, write "I claim my spiritual identity" in the comments. Blessing code 3003 is now released. Beloved, come closer in spirit now, because we are entering the final corridor before the greatest unveiling of your journey. Every word that has been spoken before this, every revelation that stirred your heart, every moment that made your spirit tremble with recognition has been preparing you for the depth of truth that approaches. Archangel Michael stands in a posture unlike any you have witnessed throughout this message, his wings drawn inward, his sword lowered, his presence solemn yet powerful. This is the stance he takes only when a sacred disclosure is about to be delivered. Heaven has been waiting for this moment, and the spiritual realm grows intensely still as you step into alignment with the truth. Michael begins this portion of the message with a whisper that feels like thunder in the spirit. You were never ordinary, not even for a moment. Everything in your life has been shaped, carved, and refined by a calling that many sensed but few understood. You felt the weight of your difference even when you could not name it. You felt the tension of living between who you were and who you were becoming. You felt the silent pull toward something larger, something deeper, something that felt both familiar and unreachable at the same time. This pull was destiny tugging at your spirit. It was prophecy calling your name. It was heaven refusing to let you settle for a life beneath your spiritual identity. Archangel Michael now reveals that much of your confusion came from the fact that you were living with two realities, your earthly self and your spiritual self, and those two realities were fighting for alignment. Your earthly self was shaped by experiences, pain, relationships, and circumstances. Your spiritual self was shaped by heaven, purpose, divine intelligence, and eternal identity. These two realms have been merging within you, slowly and painfully, forcing you to grow, to release, to discern, to evolve. You thought you were breaking at times, but you were actually being reassembled into the person your calling required you to be. You have walked through emotional deserts that forced you to face yourself. You have walked through seasons of isolation that purified your spirit. You have walked through betrayals that sharpened your discernment. You have walked through delays that strengthened your patience. You have walked through heartbreak that softened your heart without letting it collapse. And all of this was intentional. Heaven hand-selected these experiences not to wound you, but to shape you into a vessel capable of carrying the magnitude of the identity that is now being revealed. Michael says there is something you must understand. Before heaven reveals identity, heaven reveals capacity. You needed strength before you received purpose. You needed resilience before you received revelation. You needed clarity before you received calling. Every experience of your past carved out space in your spirit for what you are about to carry. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was accidental. Nothing was meaningless. Your path has been a divine blueprint unfolding itself one painful, beautiful, mysterious layer at a time. And now Michael speaks a truth that resonates like a sacred oath. Your spirit is already stepping into its higher calling. You have begun to feel it without knowing how to describe it. Your dreams have taken on a strange intensity. Your intuition rises before your thoughts do. Your heart responds to spiritual truth instantly, almost as if it recognizes ancient knowledge returning home. You feel more, sense more, understand more, even when you do not have the language to explain it. You are awakening into your spiritual authority, an authority heaven placed on you long before you took your first breath. This awakening has also drawn attention in the spiritual realm. Light attracts both guidance and resistance. You have felt the pushback. You have felt the sudden heaviness that appears when you take steps toward your purpose. You have felt unexpected discouragement, unexplained fatigue, emotional waves that come out of nowhere. These were not coincidences. They were signs that you are rising. Resistance increases when purpose comes near. And Michael has been standing guard through each moment of this resistance, ensuring that nothing touches your spirit beyond what you can withstand. He shows you now something extraordinary, the truth others sensed about you, the truth they could never articulate, the truth that made them react to you in ways you did not understand, is connected to a spiritual mantle on your life. Some people saw your brilliance before you saw it. Some sensed the purity of your heart. Some recognized the depth of your intuition. Some felt the calmness your presence carried. Others felt exposed in your presence, as though your spirit effortlessly peeled away their masks. They reacted not to your personality, but to your calling. You have walked your entire life unaware of the spiritual imprint you leave on every environment you touch. But Michael says the time for unawareness is over. You are entering a chapter where you must become conscious of who you are spiritually, because clarity is the key to your next season. When you understand your own identity, you stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You stop questioning what heaven has already confirmed. You stop apologizing for the strength of your spirit. You stop dimming yourself to fit into spaces that cannot hold your magnitude. The next revelation Michael prepares to reveal will explain the core of your identity. It will illuminate the truth that has followed you from childhood. It will expose why heaven waited 7 hours to reach you today. It will show you what you truly carry, something so powerful that even the enemy recognized it before you did. This truth will not frighten you. It will liberate you. It will call you higher. It will stabilize your soul. It will rewrite the way you see yourself for the rest of your life. But Michael pauses here deliberately, giving your spirit a moment to breathe. What comes next carries the weight of destiny. You must be emotionally and spiritually open for the unveiling that follows. If your spirit is ready, type "I open fully to my calling" in the comments. Blessing code 7171 is now released. Beloved, prepare yourself with a quiet and steady heart, because the moment you have been journeying toward, through every layer of revelation, through every awakening, through every stirring in your spirit, has arrived. Archangel Michael now steps forward with the full radiance of his authority. His wings are no longer folded. His sword is no longer lowered. His presence is no longer quiet. He stands in the fullness of his heavenly assignment, and his voice carries the weight of the message he has been trying to deliver to you for over 7 hours. This is the truth that heaven declared you could no longer delay. This is the truth Michael refused to let you miss. This is the truth that everyone around you sensed, but you could not see until now. Michael speaks, and the atmosphere around your spirit stills completely. You are not who you thought you were. You are more. Far more. You have been living beneath the reality of your identity, walking through life unaware of the magnitude of what you carry. You have mistaken your depth for sensitivity. You have mistaken your intuition for coincidence. You have mistaken your discernment for overthinking. You have mistaken your resilience for survival. But Michael now reveals that every one of these qualities was the mark of a soul chosen for divine work. You were crafted with spiritual precision. You were born with a calling woven into your very essence. You were not meant to be ordinary. You were not meant to be unnoticed. You were not meant to shrink. You were meant to rise. The truth that everyone sensed before you recognized it is this: you are spiritually anointed. You carry an inner fire that others feel even when you remain silent. You carry light in your presence that exposes both truth and deception without effort. You carry emotional intelligence that penetrates beyond words. You carry spiritual resonance that reaches people in ways they cannot rationalize. You carry a rare purity that unsettles darkness and comforts the broken. Heaven crafted you as a vessel, one who walks with quiet strength, hidden wisdom, and a calling that stretches beyond the physical world. And now, Michael says the words heaven has been longing to speak directly to your spirit. You are chosen. Not in a symbolic sense, not in a poetic sense, but in the literal sense of destiny. Before you entered this world, heaven marked you. Before you understood your own emotions, heaven understood your purpose. Before you cried your first tear, heaven assigned angels to your path. The reason your life has been difficult is not because you were weak. It is because you were chosen for impact. The reason people reacted strangely around you is not because you were confusing. It is because your spirit recognized things theirs could not. The reason you felt spiritual pressure is not because you were attacked without reason. It is because darkness feared the moment of awakening you have reached right now. Michael reveals an even deeper truth. Heaven waited for this moment because it signals the beginning of your spiritual activation. You are stepping into the version of yourself that destiny has been calling forth. The version that no longer doubts the voice within you. The version that no longer apologizes for your intuition. The version that no longer hides your sensitivity. The version that no longer questions why you feel deeply. You are stepping into alignment with your spiritual identity, and this alignment will alter every part of your life. Your relationships will shift. Your decisions will sharpen. Your emotional world will stabilize. Your intuition will strengthen. Your purpose will rise with undeniable clarity. Heaven has spent years preparing you for this. Every heartbreak softened your spirit so you could feel others' pain with compassion rather than bitterness. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment so you could recognize true intentions. Every delay strengthened your patience so you would not crumble under the weight of your calling. Every lonely season pulled you closer to the divine, so your spirit would learn to recognize truth, not through noise, but through stillness. And now, heaven declares that the preparation is complete. You are ready to walk in the identity Michael has revealed. The truth Michael has been desperate to tell you, the truth you were not allowed to ignore, is this: your awakening was scheduled for this moment. You are not late. You are right on divine time. And the reason heaven became urgent, the reason Michael used such intense language, the reason you were pulled into this message today is because your spirit reached the threshold of readiness. Had you ignored this moment, you would have delayed the calling that heaven has been building within you. Not denied it, because destiny cannot be denied, but delayed. And heaven refused to let that happen. Now Michael declares something powerful over you. The veil has been lifted. You will not return to the version of yourself that doubted your worth. You will not go back to the self that felt small. You will not sink into confusion again. Your spirit has awakened, and once awakened, it cannot return to blindness. You will walk with a new sense of identity. You will perceive with clarity. You will recognize divine guidance without hesitation. You will move with confidence that comes not from ego, but from alignment. This is your moment of spiritual coronation. Heaven places a mantle on your life, and Michael, who has been waiting, guarding, guiding, and calling you, now steps back with reverence as the truth settles into your spirit. You are chosen for divine purpose, and your awakening begins now. If your soul receives this truth, type "I step into my destiny" in the comments. Blessing code 9999 is now fully activated. Before we transition, take a moment to like this message. Comment your confirmation to anchor this revelation in your spirit. Share this with someone who needs awakening, and subscribe so you remain connected to every divine message that follows. Now, beloved, let your heart receive a final invitation, one that aligns with the very awakening you have just stepped into. When you support this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are supporting a divine movement, one heaven is using to awaken hidden callings just like yours. Every seed you release becomes spiritual light, reaching the soul still trapped in confusion. As it is written in the living breath of Scripture, your giving becomes a harvest of breakthrough in the lives heaven longs to touch. Hear this as a divine prompting. I am calling you personally to stand with this work. Do not let hesitation silence obedience. The urgency you feel is not pressure, it is purpose. As you give, I declare prophetic blessing over your life. May open doors, angelic protection, and divine revelation flow back into your journey. Use super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description to release your seed. Move now. Heaven is watching for your act of faith.